Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, there's just 321 days until Christmas, 2022. And this week we get the season finale of the Book of Boba Fett. Super excited for that. And just for those of you that keep track, we were going to have a bonus stream this week on Wednesday because Hasbro is having a Star Wars themed fan first event. That'll be this Wednesday, and I got my friend Martin Keeler is going to join us, and we're going to try to get another person involved as well, maybe 2 or 3. So we'll talk about the releases this Wednesday, and maybe hope that some of them are tied to this Book of Boba Fett thing. So we'll see. Oh, and it's good to see you all here. Will Morgan is with us. Dale Erdman celebrating some time with us. And look, Star Wars Meg is here. Meg is going to give us a bonus video today. Normally we get the Star Wars Meg here on the East Coast in the United States. We get that around 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I've been looking for Meg's bonus video today. She's got one coming up a little bit later. And until then, we're going to bring in my friend Jason Ward, who is with us today. Hey, Jason, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Very, very good. There is, I think, some exciting things to talk about today. And we do have the first big piece. Oh my goodness, the dogs are excited.
Sorry, that was my tummy. I didn't have breakfast yet.
Oh my goodness. So this article came out from the Direct, and this is really kind of making a pretty big splash today because the Direct counts as a mainstream outlet for information, and they are quoting an interview that was done over in the Netherlands. And Star Wars 95, good to see you. First time catching us during the live stream. Left some fantastic comments on some videos over the weekend. I caught up with those. Some really, really good speculations. So thank you for joining, and good to see you here. Anyway, this article, there was an interview over in the Netherlands with, what's his name? This dude,
Diego Luna.
But Stellan Skarsgård.
That guy.
Sorry. Yeah, that guy. Stellan, and I went out and read the original, and it's not in English. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To do the YouTube translation bit, which is kind of awkward.
I thought you were Santa Claus and you just knew all this stuff. What's going on here?
Have the elves translate it for me. No, and everybody knows about the whole elf situation here at the North Pole, and you just can't trust those elves all the time. They're sneaky and they're ornery. That's so. Anyhow, Stellan, he did this article. So the Direct published some of this out of here, and the big news that I got is twofold. First of all, they said that Kenobi is coming out in May. And I thought, wow, wait a second. Where was it here? I have to search for it.
Yeah, Hollywood Reporter was also reporting that in like a little blurb, a tweet, and a little line in one of their bigger articles this week too.
Yeah, and we had seen that already before. Let's see, where was it? Here it is. When the dust settles on Tatooine, fans will return to the familiar desert in May for the debut of the highly anticipated Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Now, this is, I think, there have been several outlets reported, as you mentioned, Hollywood Reporter, as well as, there's another one that's been coming out there quite accurately, who told us over a week ago. And then we had that bit that came out, the tweet that was then deleted, and said, no, I was not talking about Kenobi. I was talking about that comic book.
Oh yeah, the executive, the Disney Plus executive who
clearly
made an error. I feel really bad for that person because I know that level of tired that makes you make that kind of mess up. But boy,
It's much like Patrick's with Hasbro. Patrick
Mhm.
revealed the Rancor
Yeah,
project way early. Way early. And
right.
then he tried to walk it back. Well, you may have heard me say Rancor. I really didn't mean Rancor. You may have heard it. I like you heard a thing, but it wasn't a thing. This is really not a thing. Just ignore anything that you think that you may have heard about that thing. And
Yeah,
everybody's like, no, we heard you, dude. So the same thing happened here. Right?
yeah.
Like this guy put in the tweet and he said, no, wait, no, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And
Yeah.
too late, my friend. Too late.
I hope
So
everybody at his work just laughed at him and was just like, "Oh, you card," because it would be really sad to get fired or demoted because, oops. I mean, unless you keep doing it, I guess.
and the chat is, God bless you, Meg. I love you from the bottom of my heart. There's a deep, deep love and affection for Meg. But daggone it, I can't read the chat and talk to Jason at the same time because Meg is distracting me. She's so but anyway, I think now they've just peeled the Band-Aid off and said, okay, fine. Kenobi's coming in May.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it's in the direct, like you can pretty much count on it. They're not going to run this without having some verification.
Yeah,
So,
and Hollywood Reporter, for the most part, like I've had trades rip me off before of stuff that I put out and then there's like straight up steal it and then put it in and it was like two disparate things I put together that don't make much sense, like together, and then they report them in the same article, so I knew it was a ripoff. It does happen. They do jump on at times, but for the most part, on this one, how could it not be pretty much right at this point? I mean, there's only so many weeks left in the year with a lot of real estate that has to be taken up, and I don't think they're just jumping on, but I think that it's completely true. I think it has to.
I'm with you. By this point, like you said, the Hollywood Reporter and the director running with it. We already had LRM online. I think they ran with it first.
Yeah.
So give them credit for where it's due. I think LRM ran with it first, but now we've had so many sources confirm it, and then that tweet came out and said no, it wasn't, and now they're just saying fine. The Hollywood Reporter, the direct, everybody's running with it. We get Kenobi in May, which is great news. I think that's great news, and that doesn't mean May the 4th, by the way.
Could be May 25th. In fact, I was talking to a friend at Disney about this over the weekend, and this isn't anything like I don't want anybody to run too far with this or anything like that, but I was just told it's not May the 4th. As far as they know, it's not May the 4th. So, but it could be, but I'm throwing it out there. So I would expect a later in May release date if this does pan out though. For myself, if I was betting, if I was filling in the Star Wars Center prediction on the forum for the next episode of Article Truth, it would be that.
Yeah, well, and the other thing that we heard a little bit ago, not very long ago, was that the Bad Batch season 2 would come out maybe May 5th, right? Or May 4th. Yeah.
Revenge of the 5th? No, May 4th.
Okay. May 4th. So if the Bad Batch is coming out May 4th, we could actually get 2 Star Wars content releases a week, right? Because the Bad Batch would definitely overlap, and it raises again the question: will they stick to a Wednesday only release schedule, or might we get a kind of a twofold release, or might they release the entire Bad Batch season in one drop?
Oh, that would be nice actually if they did it that way. It would be a lot less painful for us who like it, but those episodes that are kind of just like, oh, I'm learning about trust again or something like that. You're like, oh, okay, I can just watch it and enjoy it and get past it. That would be nice. That said, I mean, it's I gotta be honest with you. I know what most of you guys are doing, and if Disney doesn't know, most of you guys aren't doing very much. You guys could sit down and watch 2 Disney Plus shows in a week. It's not the hardest thing in the world. You know what I mean? That's where I get kind of like we almost make up these like spider webs that don't exist. Like, oh no, if I go there, and it's like you can just do that. Like, who's to say they can't just do that? Sometimes I go to the movies. Well, there's not like a virus or something. I'll go to the movies twice in a week. I do crazy things, but it's
absolutely doable.
Yeah,
we have these rules that we've kind of laid on. As you said, it's like a spider web network that we kind of just make up. And if we get Marvel content coming and Star Wars content, and maybe more than one series at a time from each or both, there could be a lot of content coming at us through Disney Plus through the summer. Really a lot. And who knows? Who knows? We shall find out. And I guess I go back to my complaint that at this point, what is the harm in telling consumers, both Disney, from Disney Plus consumers, what to expect on your lineup? Like,
right.
And we get the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and just somebody put 2 sleeps, just 2 sleeps away.
2 sleep.
In
2 Earth cycles.
That's right. 2 standard cycles. We do get right, but it's we don't know for sure when the next thing's coming. I mean, this is about as for sure as you can get, right? Like Kenobi in May. We don't have May when, right? We don't know. Meg, what if I no sleep? Well, we know that there are rumors that Meg may be indeed a droid, like an artificial intelligence. Like, who knows? But
wait, you're talking about Megbot 3000? Yeah, I thought I recognized that sense of humor. It's Megbot 3000. It has like a little cowboy hat. And it's also, demonetized. Yeah,
the Megatron, and our friend Mark did a fantastic Megatron image. If you guys haven't seen that, it's fantastic. It's really, really good. So, oh my goodness, yeah, I see you all in the chat, and I am purposely trying to ignore you. And I see Martin Keeler in there, kind of stirring things up. And Meg, I see you. You're making it really difficult. And I almost said the other word, but I didn't give it to you. I didn't give it to you that time. She's a synonym for difficult. That's what Meg is making life for me. Like, as I look over to chat, I'm like, oh, Meg, what are you doing over there? And then when I look and see, when I see Martin Keeler, I'm like, oh no, now there are 2 of them. And all we need now is Nikki to join the chat, and it'll be over. It'll be, I will have lost complete control.
Slick Nick, as they call her.
Yes. So, I think this is about as official as you get. Kenobi series, Bad Batch. Like, when we get, I just would love to see, okay, Kenobi, May 25th or whatever, right? Bad Batch, May 4th or whenever. Just put a date. And again, I don't understand why Disney Plus consumers can't have yet a release schedule for things as soon as next week. Like, when? So anyway,
I don't know if they're like, oh, if we let them, like, people are really going to pay attention and then be like, well, I could cancel Disney Plus in May and then get it back in June. Like, people don't think that hard. Honestly,
right.
And so if you just don't leave a big window, nobody's you can tell us when things are coming out, and it would just be nice.
Exactly. And then Andor, this is I think the big news, because some time ago we heard that filming for Andor season 3 would begin soon.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, wait, season 3 will happen to 2. Well, we heard that Andor was 12 episodes long. And so the natural inclination was say, oh, well, they're just going to split that into 2 seasons, 6 and 6. Order 66. No, it's 6 and 6. But we get confirmation in this article that season 2 or season 1 of Andor is 12 episodes.
Okay.
It's explicit.
Well, I mean, that was their original announcement, right? Was we're making costumes for 12 episodes. So they were like literally telling us right up front that it was 12. So yeah, but are they going to air all 12 at the same time? And what is this saying? There have been rumors suggesting that Rogue One spinoff would have as many as 3 seasons, but Skarsgård's words are the first indicator that things will be continuing in an official capacity. Let me ask you this,
Right.
Santa. Would he know if he filmed if he filmed 1 season of a show and then they decided to break it into like 2? Would they be like, hey, everyone, get Skarsgård on the phone. We need to let him know what's going on with the show. He's Skarsgård, and he will get so mad if we don't fill him in with all of our plans. And that's what makes me wonder. I still, yeah.
This is so I put that first because that is, I think, what they are. Here it is. So Skarsgård, you're exactly on point. So you get that quote, and then you got to read down further, and this is connected to that. So oftentimes when that space is in between, you don't maybe connect the dots, but that's exactly right, Jason. So you nailed it there, right? So it's been confirmed that Andor season 1 will be 12 episodes. Confirmed, making it safe guess that the sophomore run should be the same. Previous rumors claimed the first season would be split in 2, but Skarsgård's comments thoroughly debunk such a notion. Debunk.
But how? How does it thoroughly debunk it? And where has it? It says I'm not trying to say the director's wrong, but it's been confirmed. Well, it was confirmed back when they made the announcement, but then a bunch of other things started happening in other film trade magazines saying that they're about to start filming season 3. So maybe season 3 was simply a typo. Maybe that's all that it was, which is and then it blew up from there. That completely seems possible. I make a lot of typos. I know, but it's like But I mean, this is where I'm a little bit like, I just don't really. I'm not saying I even think that they're wrong. I actually think they're probably right. But this doesn't really change my my faith in anything not still being kind of weird about everything.
Well, and I think that's fair because remember when Ming-Na Wen, she thought first she was filming Mando season 3, and the reason she thought that is that the scripts said S3O E1, right, or something like that. And
so did I. I thought the Naboo Starfighter, and I thought the little speeder bike things, the little color bikes, were from Mando 3 at that time too. Everyone did. You know, that's why Grace Randolph was reporting that there was all this drama on the set because she knew this weird change happened for season 3, and then decided to make it into a big stink about Pedro Pascal being a little brat, which that was just, you know, I do hear that Pedro can be kind of hard to work with, though. For the record, I really do. People say he's a little bit of a rich kid.
Well, you bring up some of the drama things that come up, and there's some people that latch onto that stuff more than others. I tend to try to just slough it off. Drama to me,
I don't ever report on it. But Carrie Fisher drama was always the best. For the record, that was the best. We just can't find her for 4 hours, and then we find her sleeping in beside a tree. You're like, what?
Exactly. This is fantastic. This is the artwork I was talking about. Mark did a fantastic job of this.
It makes your voice like Axl Rose when she speaks.
This is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. So
Meg has the best voice, I think, in all of the Star Wars podcast jazz. You know, easily. But when I see a Transformer, I can't help but think of Starscream and that Axl Rose style voice. It would be great if that was all an act. when she really thought she's like, all right, Santa, let's get him.
Oh, Meg, you totally need to do that now. We need
on April Fool's, on your April Fool's episode, the whole thing in the Starscream voice.
That would be great. You know what, Meg? Here we go. No, she's trying to get me to do a voice if a certain thing happens in the season finale of the Book of Boba Fett. I think the bet should be that here. So here, people have been asking Meg, when you hit 100,000 subscribers, will you give us a reveal? And so she's been really debating, what do I reveal? Well, you reveal your Megatron voice. That's it.
Yeah.
The reveal is that you are Megatron, and you do an entire show with like a Starscream voice. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's what we need. I've now decided that's exactly what we need for the 100,000 reveal is her Megatron voice.
Yeah, and if you want to be like a Meg Voltron or something, like I'll be like your left leg or something if you need it. Just let me know. You know, I can help you take that form.
That is so good. So so talk about drama. So yes, Grace Randolph picked up on some supposed drama that went on with Pedro Pascal, and that he walked off set, and there was all kinds of and shenanigans.
I know the actual truth to that whole thing, though, and I've
heard some of it as well
before. No, the actual like truth to it was up front was that when he came on really late to the show, and all of that drama was in season 1, and he was negotiating to be part of it, and he wanted to show his face. They weren't going to show his face at all in season 1, and when we get to see his face at the end of when we get to see him when he's hurt. That was them coming to a consensus about how do we make this work for us and you, and so that bit of news was pushed. She heard it late, I guess, and then with the other thing, and then put all of that together and then made it. Well, if this means this, then that means that. That's not actually what happened though. But I see where she was coming from. And I honestly think that it's like how you hear like about like a tabloid, and everyone's like, oh well, when the Sun says it, but then like when you look back at the Sun and what they've reported on Star Wars, it's always been pretty on. It's kind of like that, you know. It actually has legs to her credit.
Martin Keeler. The thing is, I know people who hang out with you, people that you hang out with. Let's just say I know some people you know. And I've seen way too much of some of the people you know when they hang out with you in a bar. And let's just say if Pedro Pascal hung out with Martin Keeler in a bar, we might actually see more of him than anybody ever wants to see. Just put it that way.
Yeah.
Which does raise another thing. So there's a lot of drama going on now about Pablo Hidalgo. Right. So there's a tweet, there's some information. Pablo no longer works for Lucasfilm. Pablo does work for Lucasfilm. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. So it's back and forth. It's all drama. Look, from all reports of things I've heard, he's a bit of a I don't want to say a vulgar term, but he's full of himself sometimes, right?
Yeah,
that's what I hear. That's what I hear about him.
I've been in rooms with them and talked to him, and like when I say hung out, I don't mean like we made a plan and hung out. I mean like we were like in the same theater and we chatted for like a while and stuff like that. He's just that guy who, if you went to the comic book store, he's the one who runs the RPG game. And when you're at the table, he knows the rules of the RPG, and you're an idiot for those 5 minutes, and then you get up, and then the social status is all returned back to normal, and you go back to your daily life, and then he still sits there going, "Hey, that's Pablo Hidalgo," but he's not fired. I don't think he's fired.
No, he's not fired. He still works. And if you want to believe that he's fired and it creates you some monetized YouTube content for a week or two, he's fine with that. Yeah. you want to create some content claiming that he's no longer employed by Lucasfilm. He doesn't care. He does not care. You write whatever you want. You create whatever you want. Not my problem. And he's not about to go into a whole thing with him. So look, I don't care. I don't care about drama. I got over it when my kids were. Look, first of all, when I was in high school, I wasn't popular enough to be involved in any drama. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have to worry about drama. But then my girls came along, and when they were teenagers, both of them, and I know the youngest one loves to claim that she was not. But look, teenage girls and drama are synonymous. They're synonymous. One is the same as the other.
I'm pretty much one. I know. I'm pretty much a teenager.
I was like, look, I don't care about your drama. And so I didn't care about it when it was my girls. I certainly don't care about it when it's Pedro Pascal or Pablo Hidalgo or Grace Randolph. Who cares? I don't care. just give me some Star Wars content. And I need to
know, what is Kathy's next move? That B word.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay. But can we both agree that the jumping through a hoop story to make when he's not fired about like what he did to get back is going to be totally funny? It's going to be like totally entertaining. Like, it turns out he has dirt on that guy who's not Bob Iger, Bob Chapek. He went to Bob Chapek's bachelor party and he has the pictures. It'll be something like that. Watch. It's going to be great.
Right. Well, exactly. And all the stories on the sequels are being retconned. There's a division at Lucasfilm. There's a war at Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau are at war with each other.
Bunch of retcon artists, if you ask me.
Look, I don't believe or follow any of that nonsense. I don't. If there is a civil war going on or there's not my problem. Not my problem. I don't care. And all I want to know is what comes out of it. And I tend to just not believe any of it. Kathleen Kennedy had, Meg was there when Kathleen and was having brunch. And she was spying in the window. She's watching. Hey, what are you doing in there? No, I kid. No,
but they were eating babies, right, Meg? That's and drinking blood out of chalices, right?
Out of chalices,
magic chalices. It makes their eyes. Whenever you do that, your eyes glow red in featured images. It turns out. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I just can't handle it. And so I think I don't believe that there's a civil war going on. I believe that there may be artistic differences of opinion, and as people are storyboarding things, there's a bit of a tug of war that goes on. It's natural kind of stuff, not inflated to civil war kind of things. I think we should take a left. I think we should take a right. And you kind of you negotiate. Okay, we'll take a left this time and a right the next time. I don't know. However that all works out. It's just through the creative process where there's a tug and a give and take. And it's just how it works out. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. There's no civil war. And as far as like Kathleen Kennedy having no say in Star Wars, that's just as much rubbish. First of all, I don't think she wrote a single line of dialogue in a single piece of Star Wars content since taking over as head of Lucasfilm.
No, she'll tell them that isn't working, and then they will go write it. And yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've never heard one of those channels who reports like on made up drama even talk about sort of a lesser known person on the story group or whatever. They only focus on like 3 or 4 people over and over again because they don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly. And they're making stuff up.
They don't even know who it is or what they do.
Exactly. And you're glitching a little bit on me, Jason. I don't know if it is for other folks, but it'll probably work itself out. and we'll see Jason come right back. So I want to get back to actual content. Martin, yes, that is in your wheelhouse. Absolutely in your wheelhouse. Look, if you folks are on board with the sequels being retconned, I'm not here to ruin your day. I'm not here to yuck your yum, to harsh your mellow. None of that. I'm here just to kind of add a little bit of sanity, reason. Well, it says Jason. Let's try again. Let's click. I see invisible Jason. There you are. You're here. You're here.
All right, cool. Yeah, nothing actually went bad on my end. It's just Melon. Melon is just terrible. I'm getting mad at Melon lately.
I have seen that. Hey, $5 super chat from Master Mac Jeremy. Thank you so much for that, Jeremy. The drama peddling is not going to suck the joy out of Star Wars Golden Era. Nope. Or as Meg likes to say, this is the age of Beskar. This is the Beskar age for Star Wars, and I don't think anybody should let anybody else's critiques take away any enjoyment you have.
I have my dress car on, and I'm going to the ball, and nobody's going to stop me.
Right. Look, I love the sequel trilogy. I absolutely love it. I love every single sequel trilogy movie better than any of the prequel trilogy movies.
Whoa. Hold on there.
Better
Hold on a little bit. Okay. You have a right to your opinion on your own show. I'll let you have that.
I just say, look, that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. I love them. And if folks don't love them, I'm not here to say that you have to.
Even though this old girl makes me pretty mad. She makes me pretty mad sometimes, but I still love her because she's mine.
Fantastic. Like it's just if folks really are desperate to see the sequels retconned, I'm not here to tell you that it's impossible, but I do want you to kind of take a reality pill and understand that that's likely not going to happen. There are tons of reasons for it not to happen. And if all you're doing is getting news from outlets that say they are happening, I would challenge you to try to find other outlets to add, not stop watching. If you enjoy Doomcock, great. My friends over at Echo Base Network, they're fantastic people.
Who? If you enjoy who? I didn't hear what you said, Santa. Can you say it again?
No, but if you like it,
I tried, guys. I tried. I heard the same thing got.
And X-Wing's right. Meg always says Santa doesn't like good Star Wars. Look, that's fine for folks to say that. It's fine. I love them, and I'm not here to tell you that you have to. But I'm also going to say, if you are convinced that they're getting retconned, maybe add some other content to your rotation. You can keep watching all that content. And as I was getting ready to say, like a coach over at Echo Base Network, he's a great friend, just a wonderful guy, a tremendous human being. I really like him. But he and I have very different views on the sequels. but we could still be friends. And Jason and I don't agree on everything, and we're still friends. And that's really what. I said this before, mainly off stream, but I'll say it on stream. One of the goals I have here as a channel is to bring people together who are very different. And Jason and I are very different. We have different kind of friends. But here we are together, and we collaborate together because we have a friendship. And same with X-Wing, and same with Meg, and a lot of you who are here in the chat. You are our friends because we just want to enjoy Star Wars and talk about it. What we like, and maybe discuss the things that we don't like in a productive kind of way. So.
Well, it gets really boring when everybody shares the same exact opinion. That's when it comes to those other like channels. Number one, I think about the people who watch them, and I'm like, do they just want to hear the fantasy shot at them? Do they want to pretend that they live in a different reality where that's what's happening because that's what they want and that makes them feel good for a minute? Are they just completely suckers all around who are just taking for a ride over and over? Like, it's when I try not to think down on them, I think they just want to live in the fantasy. It's like a role play. But then when I think of it like they believe it, then I'm like, what a bunch of suckers. I both feel bad and laugh for them. Like one of my like little true crime side interests is cults. I think it's fascinating. And I'll read something about cults and I'm just like, and at first I'm laughing at the cult people. And then by the end of whatever I'm reading, I'm like, oh, I completely see how they got tricked. Like I see how it happened, how it slowly unraveled and they got sucked in. But that's what it reminds me of as like a cult. It's so strange.
When you first said that, I thought you said colt like a baby horse. Like,
a little.
You're like, you're really into baby horses. All right.
I love baby. You know, the thing about me is I'm just kind of a pony man. You know, I'm kind of
My Little Ponies. Like completely. And by the way, I'm very well aware. My Little Ponies is a big thing. It's a big thing,
dude.
Like
I was at. It might have been one of the D23s. There was a dude that was about 6'4" with like a shaved head, ripped, full of My Little Pony tattoos. And I was like, bronies are cool. You do you. I won't make fun of you, Mr. Brony Man. Because it was like your worst prison nightmare. Kind of like walking through D23.
Exactly. And Martin's right. Dave Tree, he is all the cool stuff. It's a collector store. They sell all kinds of Star Wars merchandise and other things. He definitely has a My Little Pony section in his store that's huge. He is the king of My Little Pony. That's true. So I want to bring up, yes, I know Meg's comments. I'm reading them and I'm trying not to click on them, trying not to pay too much attention. There she goes again. I'm like, Meg, I love you. I'm not clicking on that. I'm not doing it. And I'm ignoring half of Martin's as well because he's Martin, and you'll get a chance to see Martin on Wednesday. Hopefully, nice. Hopefully from the waist up. That's all we hope when Martin's in the room. Mm-hmm. But there's another piece of news out there that I haven't heard many people talk about. I think it's mainly just because the interest may not be as high for a lot of folks. But this article came out from Jordan Mason. He's very well known. Jordan Mason gave us this story. It says kid-focused High Republic live action series in the works. Now, the first time I saw this headline, I saw kid-focused High Republic. I stopped reading there and I thought, oh, they're going to make an animated series for kids around the High Republic. Oh, that's not what it says. You should read. I'm like, oh, okay, Brian, I'll go back and read this. So kid-focused High Republic live action series in the works. Again, Jordan Mason, pretty well respected source in the scooping game. Not always spot on. Not as cool as my friend Jason, for sure. Right? But anyway.
We'll see.
We'll see. Jordan, he says, the High Republic era is expanding. We've heard a new live action series is in the works with the focus being on a younger generation of heroes. Well, that's over the past few weeks, I've been hearing a number of things, multiple sources. Some I heard last year and pushed to the side. I was poking around trying to find information on something else entirely, and it came back up. It says Stranger Things in space. Oh, I like Stranger Things. Oh, very good. Oh, Seth says, I hate Stranger Things, so it's a pass.
Stranger Things doesn't work because it has an ensemble of children. It works because it has an ensemble of children dealt with how the 80s dealt with ensembles of children, which is where it didn't talk down to them and it let them be in the forefront, such as like Goonies, Explorers, Lost Boys. And but when you say kid focused, those things really feel like they are diametrically opposed. I gotta say that so there's things about this that simply don't make sense. Once again, It might have just been a source trying to make sense of it and said think Stranger Things in space, but I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Meg, are you listening? This one's free. This one's for you. and it's totally free. You ready to hit record? Yeah, I know you're going to want to loop it. So you ready? Here, Stranger Things strokes of an 80s nostalgia bone for me. There you go. You have that.
Yeah.
You can use that however you like, Meg. There, that's a gift from me to you on this Monday.
Santa, I know you don't really like horror and stuff like that. But did you like 80s cheesy horror like Critters and stuff like that? Did none of that stuff ever work for you? Because I'm curious about how Stranger Things works for you. If you don't like most of the things that it's kind of like pulling from in terms of the genre, I just find that interesting.
Mark, Santa, stop! I can't. No, I didn't care for those. Now the real cheesy horror stuff. What was the one? Was not Gremlins. There's some just terrible 80s horror stuff.
Munchies. Remember Munchies? There was like a VHS.
Oh my goodness,
it was so bad.
I just thought they were terrible, right? So I just didn't care for them. I don't like horror. I don't like jump scares. Yeah. Anything that has a jump scare, even something that's not horror, when I sense a jump scare is coming, I kind of back out. I'm like, no, I'll close my eyes. My wife makes fun of me. I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need to hear. Sure. Like, once that passes, then I'll watch.
Yeah.
And my wife's really, really bad at saying, "Oh, it's okay now." And just as I open my eyes, the jump scare happens. Like, oh, yeah. Why did you do that?
You know what I if this is accurate, if this all pans out, you know, they're doing something weird with High Republic stuff. They're making a series of books that don't connect really to the vibe of the video game. And it's all over, but there's like the actual center doesn't appear to be there. So we have the video game, then we'd have this kid thing, then we'd have this political thriller kind of, you know, sort of jazz going on. That's really for adults. It's like I feel like if there's a bullseye, they're throwing darts all around the bullseye, and not you know what I mean? And I don't know about that strategy for making the High Republic era really click.
Yeah, well, there is a character there that I could see them. Vernestra Rowe is the character from the High Republic novels. She's a teenage Jedi Knight, and I say what you will about her character, but she's in that age group where they could build a series, and there are a series of other characters with her in the High Republic novels in that age group that they could definitely lean into to do a show from. And it would be a first for Star Wars. Like I said, kids-based stuff has typically been really light animated that get some criticism. But this could. Oh, we lost Jason again. He'll be back. So here it is. Let me just go here. It says it's a description I heard almost verbatim from two different sources months apart from each other. The context is working on a new yet unannounced live-action Star Wars series for Disney Plus. Unlike the other shows, primary cast and focus would be kids preteen to teenage range. Hence the Stranger Things comparison. Beyond that, they say it was going to be set during the High Republic era with a member of the Luminous team. So they've got like 4 or 5 authors that keep kind of cycling through that would be involved in that. And Jason's back. Hawk's Holocron. I need Bell Zettifar in his Emberhound. Amen, Hawk. Bell Zettifar is quickly become one of my favorite, absolute favorite characters in the High Republic era, and that Emberhound is fantastic. I would love to see more of that. So that would be great. But it's interesting. He heard that term, Stranger Things, from 2 different people, almost verbatim, months apart from each other. It strikes to me that they see a target and they're aiming at the target rather than letting it kind of just kind of come up.
Yeah, it sounds like they don't want to use the core of Star Wars to explore different avenues and to build an audience out of places where they maybe aren't pulling from as hard as they want to be. and that if they're using this just to try to pull that stuff all around. But I don't know if that works, because I feel like at the core of it, you end up with the mainstream of Star Wars rejecting all of it as it comes through. So I'm curious about this strategy. If it works, by all means, they're geniuses. I didn't see it coming, but to me, it seems like a bad strategy on their part to not have a real mainstream, middle of the road kind of High Republic story, and then to do these more off the wall kind of ones. I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, the idea of teenage Jedi, and that's not a bad idea unto itself, but in this might be just Mason adding his like spin on with the what does he say, kid friendly or kinfolk, whatever he said at the start, kid something. Once you do that, like because I know back in the day when I had a Disney source tell me about the Rian Johnson thing, he was hearing that it scaled more kid friendly, and that was how they were looking at the first part of the Rian Johnson thing back then. That's what they told me, but I never got anything more out of it that was really but that ended up not even happening. They ended up not even going that route.
We know the kid coming of age story is tremendously popular. Harry Potter, for example, right? Tremendously popular. Stranger Things, tremendously popular.
But Star Wars steps on all of that. Star Wars says, "Oh no, you can't." I mean, like you're able to have, but you can't have any of it. You have any attachments. You can't have any possessions. You can't, and that's all that coming of age and teenagers are possessive little rats. But just saying.
Drama. Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, it is interesting. It is something that I don't think we've seen Star Wars leverage very well. There were the old books, the Jedi Academy books, that were kind of in that coming of age range as they were going through school, Luke's Academy, and you follow these kids going through there. That fits perfectly with it, and I thought, well, that would lend itself really well to that audience. And why wouldn't you maybe lean into something like that, where maybe you've got Luke's Jedi Academy, they've got this Luke Skywalker deepfake thing going on. You wouldn't have to feature Luke Skywalker a lot. Like if you read those novels, Luke's there. But then you go on these little missions because, the teenagers always solve the problems and the adults are oblivious. That's how all of them go. Every single one of them go like that. But so you follow
Harry Potter's teachers are like grading papers while they're solving what Voldemort's doing or whatever.
Exactly. There's a troll in the dungeon. People are running around like their hair's on fire. But there goes Harry Potter and friends to go take care of the troll. That kind of stuff, right? And so you end up you could definitely lean into a Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy series where you do that same thing. Like Luke is there, you don't have to kind of lean into the deep fake too much. He would you would leverage it for sure, but then you would mainly follow these kids as they go get in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, that makes more sense than, as you were talking about, like, I love the High Republic era. I'm reading the last of the Wave 1 or Phase 1 books now. And largely they land well for me. But I think you're right that this is a weird way to introduce the era, because you go back to Resistance, the animated show, that didn't do well.
No, it had no soul to it. It was just, it was just, to me, I mean, it just had stuff,
I thought it was okay, but the lead character was just too goofy for me, right? I just couldn't go for it. And I watched both seasons. Season 2 was much better than season 1, but still kind of went over the edge too far a few times for me. But so that's what I worry about when you see this kid-focused High Republic, that it'll turn off fans who would otherwise have kind of been on the fence, and I say, no, I'm totally out of the High Republic era. For me, I would definitely be in, but I'm not so sure that's going to grab other folks, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's all we-
my take on the High Republic era is, once again, I feel like I'm reading a bunch of nerds tabletop role playing game session that I wasn't invited to, and I don't get to participate in, and so I haven't connected with it at all. I tried.
Star Wars 95, I appreciate the comment. I'm not sure you're entirely accurate. I mean, that is likely a contributor, but the big
sequels
problem
didn't
is
do well. The sequels did really well. They're
they did.
super happy with those checks, bud. I gotta be honest with you.
That's true. But the other part is like the lead character in there was supposedly like college age, but he acted more like he was a fifth grader, like a 10-year-old.
Well,
Like,
because it's a bunch of like 45-year-olds in San Francisco writing what a teenager's like. It's like you weren't even a cool teenager when you were a teenager. Like it's so misplaced. I mean,
it's terrible.
Yeah.
It is terrible. So there's another thing I want to bring up, and it's because we've got the Book of Boba Fett finale coming up just mere hours away. just two standard rotations. We will be to the Book of Boba Fett finale. There are all kinds of speculations about Grogu. What's Grogu's choice? What choice is he going to make? Is he going to pick the male and go with Din? Is he going to pick the lightsaber and stay with Luke, or is he going to take them both? He's going to why take one when you can have both? So I see lots of people with their theories on it and people with their opinions on it, and I want to lean into it. Before I do, though, Jason, what do you think?
I think he's going to be in the finale, and I think he's going to pick Din, but I got a feeling he's going to have that lightsaber and that chainmail for a time, because they just set it up where they could have their cake and eat it too. They made a situation where they get to win because he got his memory back. When he starts to get his memory back, he has the Force now. So if he quits Jedi school, he has like 20 years of Jedi training under his belt. He gets to go be little Mandalore down the road with the Force. Like, it's a win-win for him and the story and Star Wars just by going that way now. And I don't think anybody's going to be mad about it. They'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I want him with his dad, Din. He's cool. So I think that's where it's going. I hope I'm wrong, though. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's way more fascinating. But why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't they do that?
Well, and I think one thing that Luke told Grogu is a good reason for him to choose Din. He's like, look, you're going to live a very long life, and this Din dude, he ain't going to be around all that long.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you take that then? Go with Din while you can, and I could do the Jedi thing later.
Right.
Like, I got maybe 30 years. He's already 50. All right. He's got maybe another 30 with Din. And then he's got 600 more years to go.
Yeah.
700 more years to go.
And he's already kind of like, it's already kind of broken. Like, Anakin Skywalker came into the Jedi Order with attachment. He had attachment to his mom. That's what made him open to manipulation by Palpatine the whole entire time. We don't necessarily have a Palpatine in the stories that we know of anyway that's looking to manipulate Grogu. But he doesn't have his memory, then he forms the attachment, then he gets his memory back, but the attachment's there. So he's already kind of, when I say broken, I mean like the Jedi outline for how it's supposed to go is already in the trash. It already doesn't work. He has the attachment.
Right. And they've kind of been pushing this narrative that the Jedi Order had this fundamental flaw, and that flaw kind of poisoned the pot. Now, agree with it or not, right? Like, I get that the Jedi preserved peace for 1,000 generations, right? Like, so the Jedi Order wasn't like, didn't have a fundamental flaw, but it's been sort of the narrative of late. I just say that because that's what I see in the content. It's what I saw Luke said, the Jedi need to come to an end, right? It's because he saw this fundamental flaw. And they've been leaning into it in the High Republic. They've been leaning into it in different content. So I just think that's where they're headed with it, that flaw is that they've got this attachment thing wrong. right? And in my opinion, this is again just my opinion, is it's a bit of a narrative on the Catholic Church and priests not being able to be married. Look, that's me. Like
My take has always been in the superhero genre. Lois is the weakness for Clark Kent, for Superman. If she gets killed, he's gonna have to spin the world backwards and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It's always the weakness is always that attachment. Mary Jane. It's always like that person who is or their family, and so I feel like it's also like plays upon that idea that what's the one thing that breaks the person? It's love.
Yeah. Ooh. So Asher McJeremy, I love this idea. What if Grogu touches the lightsaber and he gets the rest of the Order 66 flashback, like Rey touching Luke's saber in The Force Awakens? So that brings back the rest of the memory of the Order 66, who saved him in that. I totally could see that happening, Jeremy. I think you may be onto something there. But I want to. I saw a couple other text chat about the tie-in to the sequel trilogy. That there's this rumor there's a big tie-in in the finale to the sequel trilogy.
Viewer Anon is the one who was saying that, right?
Yes, Viewer Anon has said that, and that it was not Luke's Jedi Academy. That's not the giveaway. It's something else. And there are some strong theories out there to what that could be. One being the Knights of Ren. We have these gangs of folks already in the Book of Boba Fett show. You could have the Knights of Ren working for Kira, who it's not the same Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren, they die off and they recruit new members.
It's like the Hells Angels. There's a bunch of them, and
right. When you think of the Knights of Ren, you can't be Sansa. Those people weren't there yet. I get it. Right, they weren't there yet. Hold on.
Yeah,
that comes later. But these are the precursors to the ones that we see in the sequels. But it would be a tie-in. The other one, the other really popular one, is that perhaps it's going to be a Snoke tie-in. Could be. We'll see.
That's what I'm thinking. I still believe. I mean, one of my predictions that I'm going to put on my show today. We're going to do your prediction form. And when I write in at the end, my prediction is that the Imperial Remnant shows up at the end, or just shows up as part of the quote fight for the finale. Because, and who else? If you have what's his name, Moff Gideon is in prison. Ooh. Who's leading the thing right now? I think it's gonna be Snoke, and then we're gonna see Gideon get busted out.
And now I've seen Seth put in here a few times. Iden Versio. That'd be a deep take, but I don't know if that would tie it to the sequels. I don't know. I at least not in an obvious.
It's good,
not in an obvious way. But yeah. Oh my goodness. So I want to bring up this other article, and I've mentioned this for a long time. If people got your bingo cards ready, go ahead. It's the free space in the middle. You get it whenever I bring up the Paper Moon. Well, there was this article on Rap Pro from 2020, August 2020. You can go back in my history. You can find when I talked about it back in August 2020, and I haven't shut up about it since.
He hasn't. He won't stop talking about Paper Moon.
I won't. Because this article got press for other reasons. Anytime you got Kathleen Kennedy at the top, it's going to attract attention on whatever she says, and then they're going to be breaking that apart. And there were things that she said in there that got people triggered about the whole we're digging into source material. There is no source material. All that kind of stuff. That's in here. Okay. That's in this article. But let's do a search on this for Paper Moon, shall we? Paper Moon. Oh, look here. So this was August of 2020. And in this article, there was a question. The big question was, Baby Yoda part of this from the beginning? And in her answer to this, she says, I was just talking to John. Now, John is Jon Favreau, right? From the Favroniverse, right?
Or it could have just been like some guy named John who's like the janitor at Lucasfilm and is like, I think that's a great idea, Kathy. And it just goes back to like
random John. I was just talking to John yesterday, yesterday. And now this article came out August 2020. So it was probably the interview was done a week or more ahead of that. But you can think summer-ish 2020. Because we've been in visual effects review, which we do every week, going through the shots. Oh, rage! Kathleen Kennedy has nothing to do with Star Wars. Oh, wait, she's in visual effects review every week. We do every week anyway. And
no, the visual effects review is because they have to remove the red eyes whenever she appears in public. That's what that means.
She said, I hadn't realized that the movie Paper Moon was a big influence on John when he was thinking about this story. And then that is not necessarily a movie you would immediately go to. But the minute he said it was like, yeah, of course. So I focused in on this comment. And I had never seen Paper Moon. I didn't know what the world they were talking about. I was like, what? No, completely clueless. So I went and watched Paper Moon, and you can totally see it. You've got a grifter. He's a door-to-door Bible salesman, and he's a bit of a shyster. So he comes in, he reads obits, and in the obits he'll see where some widow lost her husband for some reason. He drives up and he embosses the guy's name on a Bible, goes up and sells it to her some ridiculous amount, right? So that's what he does. He goes town to town, and he's a grifter. And as he does this, he's a shammer. Right? He just completely misleading people. So along the way, he goes and there's an orphan, and he had apparently hooked up with the orphan's mom sometime in the past, and he isn't sure, is that my daughter or not? Is this an illegitimate child? I don't know, and nobody. It's not really revealed. But during the story, he's not really interested in taking the girl with him, but his role is to take her back to her family. Grifter taking orphan to her kind,
to her people.
It's not a big leap.
No,
not a big leap. And they go through all kinds of adventures along the way. He hooks up with a prostitute along the way. He does all this stuff. And this little girl begins scamming people on Bible sales. She picks up on the grip.
Right? Does he have a conversation about masks with Gina Carano along the way? Okay, I was just wondering.
And so they have this thing. At the end, he takes her to her aunt's house and drops her off. And her aunt's super excited to see her. She's with her kind, right, so to speak. She's with her family, and her aunt has prepared everything for her. Well, she promptly then runs away, finds the grifter on the road, and leaves with him. Now that's the story arc. And for this story arc to pan out, right, and to get the payoff, Grogu needs to pick Din. Yeah. That concludes the story arc. That's what the whole thing was based on.
That's the heartstrings being pulled right there. The whole heart of the thing. And if you want to do the full dramatic manipulation of emotion, that has to happen. Yeah.
He becomes the orphan's father figure, which Din has become Grogu's father figure. And they very much have that relationship built. And there's no question in my mind, but for the Paper Moon payoff, for the story payoff, they're telegraphing the choice. He's going to pick Din, and he's going to leave with Din. There's a third reason, is that in canon content, we see that Luke's very first Jedi Academy student, is Ben Solo. And he tells Grogu right in there, stay with me, and you could be my very first student at the Jedi Academy. Well, he's not going to be the very first student at the Jedi Academy, because Ben Solo is the first student at the Jedi Academy.
Okay.
Just saying. Like, they're telegraphing it for you guys. They're not trying to pull a bait and switch on you. It's going to be what it promises to be.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to play out. And I'm just trying to tell you.
It's funny that Kathleen Kennedy is the one who gave away the biggest spoiler from anything when you really get down to it.
She really did. She really did.
Yeah.
Back in August 2020, folks. This isn't like but people just get so irate with things she says. And she in that article, she does mention about going back to some of the source material and getting themes out of it. And they're like, oh, she said source material. Rawr. Right. Yeah. So Red Eye Videos flew. And this article was quoted over and over again regarding her and the whole source material, not source material thing. Right. They completely missed that she gave away the story in this article. So look, it's there. It's there. It's not hard to find. Yeah. And Curly Sue is another story that if you want a more modern take on Paper Moon, Curly Sue is that same story, right? So what else did I see in the comments? So breaking news in my inbox. No, I'm afraid to look, Martin.
Uh-oh. Don't do it. It's going to be bad. It's going to be something from, it's going to be something. It's going to be like, what's her name? Pili or whatever, Pilimoto. And she's Pelimoto. And it's going to be with the Jawa, and it's going to be weird, and you're not going to be able to unsee it.
I'm afraid I don't see anything in my inbox, Martin. So it's not. Oh, there it is. I'm afraid. I knew it.
Yeah. Why did I make a mistake, Santa? Did you make a mistake? You made a mistake, didn't you, Santa?
I
told you were going to make a mistake. Everybody knew you were going to make a mistake when you looked right now.
I did. It's like I posted a picture of me without the beard, right? I completely shaved. And I posted a picture and I put a spoiler warning. I said, look, once you've seen, you can't unsee, right? What has been seen cannot be unseen. And people clicked on it and they're like, my eyes. I'm like, I warned you. I told you not to click on it.
Right.
Right. But they looked. And now Sheev wants to make a bet. If he wants to double down on our bet on Cad Bane dying. And if Cad Bane dies by Boba's hand, if Boba Fett kills Cad Bane, then I have to be in Vader's lair for a week on my live streams. And he wants me to double down on the bet and completely shave. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
I don't want that. I don't want that. Nobody wants a beardless Santa. Come on, you guys.
Nobody wants that. I'm just saying. Like, if you've seen the picture, you know, and once you know, that you can't unknow. So you don't.
I don't believe that. What's his name? Timothy Oliphant. I don't believe Cobb Vanth. I don't believe he's dead. I think he got shot, and they didn't pronounce him dead for a reason. If they just go, "Oh, he's dead," the next episode, you'd be like, "Why? Why'd you do that? That's stupid." And so I don't think he's dead. But then if you have Boba and Cad Bane have a standoff and shoot each other, and then he doesn't die, if they do it, somebody has to die. They can't do that. They can't do two people who don't die in a row. That will be so lame if they did that. So if they do that, I think he does have to die. But I also think that you could have him, pick him up with a rancor and bite his head off or something too. So if there is that.
You could do that. Yeah. You could do that. I think you could end up with Cad Bane crawling off wounded, not dead.
That's what I want. I want to see that mung in his mouth, and he's like, what that? Yeah. Notice that mung he has like on the side of his mouth. I'm like, you disgusting little creature. And I also want to see him with the toothpick. I was surprised he didn't have like a little toothpick in his mouth. Last episode.
Where was the toothpick? Well, he needs to have that. He needs to have that.
That toothpick in live action.
Yes. Sheev says, I only have to shave if Cad Bane is killed by Boba. But you don't want that, Sheev. Like, you would win. You would lose by winning.
Oh, you know what? Read between the lines. He didn't say what, Santa. He didn't say what.
Not going there either. Not going there either.
All right.
That's not happening. Oh my goodness. So no, I think we can guarantee two things. One is that that Grogu is picking Din. That's happening. The second is I am that Cobb Vanth is not dead. Like those guaranteed. Beyond that, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen in this. And perhaps the big sequel tie-in would be seeing Ben Solo show up at Luke's academy, like as a 5-year-old.
But that would, but if they did that, doesn't that also undo the canon as has already been stated in text? Because doesn't Ben Solo show up a bit later? Isn't he a bit older when he finally shows up? And he's not 5 years old.
10. Yeah, he's like 10. It's not time yet.
Yeah,
it's not time yet.
But at the same time, I think we're about to see if that happens. At that point, the books don't matter anymore. It's all a sham. They gave up.
It's going to be interesting, and I can't wait to see. Oh my goodness, the construction has started. You're going to go through your predictions today. You say?
Yes. Yeah. Today is we are doing the predictions, and I think to try to win. I don't know if winning is the right way, but to try to score well, I may go with Cobb Vanth is alive. I think that's already a question on there.
No, it's not a question.
Yeah. That might be my like fill in. Cobb Vanth.
Get your bonus point. Yes.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Considering.
Well, so you guys going at the top of the hour?
Yes. Yep. 45 minutes from now.
All right,
we're doing
it. Sure, you catch Jason and Sketchcraft Rob, and Jason has some exciting content coming over the coming weeks and months. If you're not subscribed over to makingstarwars.net, you should be. So the link is in the description here. You can do that, and of course, you guys in the chat, I see you there. You should. Will Morgan has a channel called Meta Egg. And his content is extremely entertaining. He doesn't put it out frequently enough for Santa's taste. I want more Meta Egg, but when he puts it in, it is fantastic. And of course, Star Wars Meg, you are listening to in the background that wonderful Hoth ambience music from Meg's Cantina. You should subscribe to both of Meg's channels, Star Wars Meg and Meg's Cantina. And you should be a Patreon supporter of both Jason and Meg, and buy merch. Support the channels. You guys really, really are wonderful. I've had a great time ignoring the chat. I've been reading the chat. I have.
I love you, chat. You guys are doing a good job today, by the way. I was part of me was like, man, I'm glad I'm here today, but I also, if I wasn't, I would be glad to have been in that chat today because it was fun.
You'd have been in there, stirring it up as well. I know you're
making it worse for you.
You're just as big a problem as Meg is when you were in the chat. It's true. It's true. So we do have our Mike Porter dad joke of the day.
Yeah.
We have to close out every show with a Mike Porter dad joke. And so you guys, today we get this. How are nerds like milk?
How Mike Porter dad joke?
Oh, you don't want them to get spoiled. Oh my goodness.
Disagree with that joke, Mike Porter. I disagree with that joke wholeheartedly. Whoa, Mr. Lopez.
Goodness. We got a big super chat here from Mr. Lopez and saying, hey, what do you think George would be involved in Andor of all the shows incoming? If he is involved, been catching a lot of replays. So this is something that Josh Lucas doubled down on this morning from Den of Nerds Live. And a rumor came out some time ago that George Lucas was involved in Andor in a different way than he's been involved with other Disney Plus projects.
He hasn't been involved with anything. So what does that even mean?
Well, we've seen pictures of him. We've seen pictures of him like on set during The Mandalorian, holding baby Grogu.
he just comes out there and eats the food and like walks around and goes, that's all that it is. And it's, that's
Well, and
okay.
I think it's reliable to say that Dave chats with George on a regular basis. And I just, and it comes, it is an IMDb kind of related thing that he's given credit in Andor. And I can't remember, there was a source, and I heard Josh mention it this morning. There is a source for this.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope that's accurate, but I don't buy any of that in the slightest.
Yeah, I think it's crediting him for, much like you see at the end of every show, right? This is based on a story by George Lucas, much of the same. That Andor, they're crediting George Lucas for having created the characters and this franchise. But I don't know that he's involved in any kind of significant development from a writing, producing, or directing role. I don't think he's involved in any of that.
Yeah,
but that's me.
Yeah. Me, I don't think so either. I think it's simply the fact that characters were created by George Lucas that are in that show, and even the main guy is not even created by George Lucas. So it's like, once again, it's just such a weird one. I don't think so.
This is hilarious. And X-Wing just having fun in the chat. I know, but this is Lucas saved Star Wars, fired Pablo. Brie Larson slated to save the sequel trilogy. I did look. I saw another people again just being naughty, right?
Yeah,
saying that Brie Larson was going to be cast as Mara Jade. You talk about triggering fans. Oh boy.
She's a foxy lady. I'd be okay with it, even though we make all those people mad. Who cares?
Yeah, would be really upset. There you go. So very good. You guys go catch Jason Ward and Rob at the top of the hour. Sheev, love you, my friend. Mike Porter, of course, X-Wing, and Meg. Everybody, you've been wonderful today. I've had a great time. And hope to see you all soon, and hope to see you over on Jason's channel in just a short bit. I'm going to go grab some lunch, and then we'll go catch Jason. So guys,
coming out.
Yes. Any parting words, Jason?
Just coming out.
Okay. All right. And until next time, my friends. Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you always. Bye-bye.